Just as of this morning, May 29, 2023, President Museveni has just signed the Anti-Homosexuality Bill into law. Therefore, it's now called the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023. This has been a very troublesome bill and has caused Uganda a lot of uproar, especially in the Western world, especially countries concerning the United States and also across the whole of Europe, which are pro-LGBTQ+. So in today's video, we're going to discuss with you all the legal implications for what this means for Uganda, what this means for the LGBT community in Uganda and also internationally. What does this mean for human rights, but most importantly, what does this mean for Uganda moving forward in its relations both domestically in our country and internationally? So welcome to everyone, Simply Legal, and we're going to discuss the implications of the Anti-Homosexuality Act 2023. Let's go. Welcome everyone, Simply Legal, and welcome back my tribe. Uganda is a very interesting country because we have legal issues every single day in our country. From Pretty Nicole to anti-homosexuality law to also a number of things, fights in parliament, but most importantly, we live in a very harmonious country, but with issues here and there. In today's video, we're looking at the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023. For those who are new to the channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and please share this with all of your friends, both nationally and internationally. Welcome everyone, Simply Legal, and we're going to discuss this very pertinent issue. Today, this morning, I was just from court. I learned that President Museveni, who is the dear president of our republic, signed the Anti-Homosexuality Act, or he assented to it, meaning he has agreed to it. This whole charade came about from tables in parliament. It was tabled into parliament. It became the Anti-Homosexuality Bill of 2023, and then it has now become into an act. But before that, I've explained so many times what a bill and an act is. When it was a bill, the way things work in the Parliament of Uganda, I'm sure it's also, it happens in different countries. Maybe in Norway, in the United States, in Japan. Most bills are tabled. They are sent to the presidents of that very country. They are then sent to him. He looks at the entire bill. If he's not so satisfied with it, he then sends it back to Parliament for them to amend it. So the way it works is that if a bill has been sent to the president twice and he keeps on amending and Parliament keeps passing it, then if he sends it back a second time and Parliament again passes it, then it becomes law. However, this time that the president looked at the anti-homosexuality bill and he just made a few amendments in relation to the offenses about people who are either identifying as lesbian, gay, bi or transgender people, and also he looked at the harshness of the offenses. So this bill caused a lot of uproar all over social media, all over the Western world, in that Uganda almost entered into bad books with the Western world. I'll take you back to 2014. I want to look at the brief facts. This is not a very new act. The Anti-Homosexuality Act was already enacted in 2014, and Uganda went into so many bad books with the Western world in that they cut a lot of funding in terms of HIV funding, in terms of schools, in terms of roads, because in the Western world, lesbian, gay, bi and transgender, which is LGBT, which is the rainbow group, it is really valued so much in terms of human rights. And in the Western world, LGBTQ+ rights are very well respected, and they look at these as human rights incorporated into their very own societies. So they did not find it very good or wise for Uganda to have signed the act. However, according to the laws of Uganda and also international law, every state is given sovereignty. What does sovereignty mean? Sovereignty means every state has its own right to enact its own laws, which it deems fit for itself. So before we even go to the harsh punishments or the major offenses that the Anti-Homosexuality Act 2023 stipulates, let's look at what the General Act looks at. Now, like I said, the act comes from the bill, but the bill was stipulating so many things concerning homosexuality. Number one, protection of children from homosexuality or acts of homosexuality. It also highlighted things like promotion of homosexuality in Uganda or promotion of LGBTQ. It also looked at people who aid and abet homosexuals in Uganda, because generally what the Anti-Homosexuality Act looks at is the fact that they want to protect the sovereignty of Uganda, the values and morals, because this is what the parliamentarians are mainly looking at. So it criminalizes promotion of homosexuality. it criminalizes lawyers and law firms that promote homosexuals or defend them in the courts of law. It will also punish judicial officers who even hear offenses concerning homosexuality. Well, if need be, they will really have to, but ideally the act does not even want them to look at that. Then it looks at so many things like aggravated homosexuality. It looks at anything which dare promotes homosexuality in the country, then that is also criminalized. But let's look at the three major things that caught my eye, the three major offenses. Let's look at the offense of aggravated homosexuality. Now, according to the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023, which has just been signed today, it looks at giving the death penalty for anyone who participates in aggravated homosexuality. Now, that was a bit vague. Even when the bill was being passed, they looked at it being a bit vague. Now, aggravated in its own self means something which is forceful, something which is not permitted. So they looked at the aspect of you doing it in that to the point that someone either gets their body damaged, or you're using force, maybe in terms of gay raping someone, or basically looking at the element of aggravation. It's being forced and it's not being wanted. So that automatically gives someone the death penalty. So this section in the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023 states that anyone who participates in aggravated homosexuality, meaning if you have participated in it for a very long time, with or without knowledge of it being a crime in Uganda, or you force someone into it, and more so that section goes into stating that you doing it with someone who is HIV positive, meaning that the framers of that law wanted to protect the people who are doing it, in that if you with or without knowledge of you having HIV participate in aggravated homosexuality, you're going to have the death penalty. Now, this was the major law which really got the Western world really having a very big uproar and being so disappointed and being concerned with Uganda. However, the parliamentarians wanted to make sure that homosexuality is not practiced anywhere in Uganda. Then let's look at the second law. We have promotion of homosexuality. Promotion is a very big word, and this new law has brought a lot of insights about how someone can look at it. Promotion can be perhaps wearing a rainbow shirt, the rainbow flag or the rainbow symbol, basically meaning you are pro-LGBTQ. Then we have maybe waving the rainbow flag, or we have anything which promotes homosexuality, or anything that symbolizes that I am this, I am pro-LGBTQ, I am this. So the parliamentarians in Uganda wanted to also cap that, stating that it's an offense and you go to jail for about 20 years. But what is very interesting about this law, as I was reading it, the entire act, I looked at the fact that President Museveni sent back the bill before he enacted it, and stated that persons, or LGBTQ persons, for purposes of clarity, lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and Q+ community, people who identify as LGBTQ are not going to be criminalized. So meaning a person who says that they are gay, or says that they're lesbian, or I'm a transgender, I transformed from a man into a woman, are not going to be criminalized. So that was the most interesting part about the bill, because it leaves a bit of a lacuna, meaning a loophole. It leaves a bit of ambiguity, meaning that, okay, so if I participate in aggravated homosexuality, I can still identify as a gay man or a gay woman. So people will not be put in jail for being or saying that they are gay or lesbians or transgender or bisexual. So now that we've looked at the domestic anti-homosexuality, law, the new law which is causing a lot of havoc all over the world, which is the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023, let's now look at what the international world is saying. I saw a lot of things on Twitter. I'm just going to read to you, and I have tweets here. I took screenshots of those different tweets. So I have tweets from Amnesty International, I have tweets from American Embassy. I have different tweets, but many of them were stating that Uganda is basically destroying human rights. Uganda is not respecting human rights, and they're also in violation of the United Nations Convention on Human Rights. Now, the United Nations Convention, I have talked about these conventions many times, and these are basically charters. International charters are international forms of law under international law, which give universal rights for all the citizens in the world. Now, the United Nations Convention on Human Rights basically gives those basic rights that people should have, or that every child should have. Now, the different United Nations conventions, there are Convention on Children's Rights, a Convention on Human Rights, conventions on war crimes, but in this case, I'm going to talk about United Nations Convention on Human Rights. So the Western world is saying that Uganda is in violation of the right to privacy, the right to protection from discrimination under the law, and also the right to equal opportunities under the law. So what they're basically stating is that by the president enacting the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023, it's in violation of those universal basic rights that every citizen of the world should have, that every human being should have. So they're stating that by Uganda taking this step, we are in violation or we're in contravention of the United Nations Convention on Human Rights in terms of personal liberty, in terms of equal opportunities, in terms of discrimination. Because when they look at the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023, they're saying that it is discriminatory because according to the laws in their countries, people of the same sex can now get married, they are entitled to relationships, they're even entitled to families, to working all over the globe. They also have inclusivity. So I basically wanted to give you a neutral standpoint on what this new law is going to put for Uganda moving forward. How is the public going to react to it? I don't know, many people have different thoughts about this, different opinions. However, we must always respect the sovereignty of a country to be able to enact their laws, and everyone at the end of the day is entitled to their own opinion, be it a legal opinion. But hey, at the end of the day, this is simply legal, and we like to simplify the law for you creatively. So, thank you everyone for listening to me. I wanted to give you the basics about what the new Anti-Homosexuality Act 2023 is going to portray. What is it going to do for Uganda? We might be seeing possible cutting of funding by the Western world, but at the end of the day, let's just see where everything goes. You never know. There are new amendments in the law. The offenses in the law could be amended, or they could be toughened, or they could be put more harsher, or whatever the case. So, until next time, I remain yours truly, Terry Kahuma. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, if you have any crimes that you've committed, if you have any people that you want to rescue from crooks, or you want to have the eyes of the law defend you, I have a legal mobile app called Fameron, which connects lawyers and people together, and it offers a multitude of many services in which you can be able to get access to justice and have legal services be made easier to you, because we have about 30+ lawyers on the platform that can be able to help you with whatever legal issue you have, whether it's land transactions, whether it's civil law, whether it's whatever it is, whether it's your basic rights which are being violated. Just log on to the Fameron app. It's available on Play Store and Apple Store, and you'll be able to get a lawyer at your fingertips. Well, until next time, let's see where the future of Uganda's parliament and legislation go. Until next time, I'll see you. Cancel out. Bye.